Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kara, and today's video is going to be my August housing market update. As always, I'm going to be separating this video into a few different sections, those being price, inventory, mortgages, local news, and other. Before I hop into today's video, I just want to quickly say that if you are not already subscribed, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button down below if you would like to see more content about Asheville, housing market update videos, exploring the town, etc. Alright, let's start out with price on a national level. I'm going to put a chart up on the screen that shows you a prediction by NAR, which is the National Association of Realtors. As you can see, they are predicting that the number of home sales is going to decrease by 13%, whereas prices are predicted to increase by 11%. This is a topic that I'm going to be covering quite a bit in this video because I've had so many people reach out to me and say, hey, I've seen a lot of listings drop their prices, seems like homes aren't really flying off the market the way that they were before, and while that is true, it doesn't necessarily equate to home prices declining. So I'm going to go into this, like I said, a lot more throughout this video, but let's dive into a few more statistics. The next chart I'm going to put up on the screen is a forecast by CoreLogic, and they are predicting that annual price growth will decline to 4.3% by June of 2023. There's another statistic that's similar to this that I'm going to be saving for September's video, but ultimately there are a lot of different predictions about what home prices are going to do, but really every single one that I've seen has shown that price appreciation is going to continue, just at a slower rate. The next piece of information I want to share with you guys is actually a quote by the chief economist of NAR. And that quote is, "We are witnessing a housing recession in terms of declining home sales and home building. However, it is not a recession in home prices. Inventory remains tight and prices continue to rise nationally, with nearly 40% of homes still commanding the full list price." So I wanted to mention this quote because I know that the term recession, housing market crash, housing bubble, all these terms are being thrown out there, and while they may be true to some small extent, something I think that we all need to keep in mind are the most basic principles of economics, and that is supply and demand. So if our inventory is still very, very low, and our demand is still high, even if it has declined, there's still an imbalance there, and until we get inventory to increase or buyer demand to decrease, then we won't really be seeing a stable market or a declining market. In fact, we're pretty far from that. Alright, let's move on to price on a local level. The chart I'm going to put up on the screen here shows you that the average sale price for the Asheville region, in other words, the 13 counties surrounding Asheville, has actually increased to $475,000. This is a 20% increase year over year. Additionally, the median sale price increased by 18% year over year to $400,000. So again, while we might be seeing some price decreases on certain properties, for the market as a whole, we are continuing to see prices increase. Let's move on to inventory on a national level. According to NAR, in July, the number of active listings was up 31% year over year. However, inventory is still down 46% compared to June of 2019. This change in active listings seems to be driven more by buyer demand declining than it does by new listings hitting the market. Interestingly, the rate of inventory growth slowed during the first week of August. In June, the amount of homes increased by 6.8% per week. In July, they increased by 3 to 4% per week. And during the first week of August, they increased by under 1%. Alright, let's move on to inventory on a local level. The number of new listings has declined right around 11% for the Asheville region year over year. The chart I'm going to put up on the screen here shows you that the number of homes for sale in general has declined by 15% year over year. So unfortunately, we are not seeing any sort of big increase or really much of an increase at all in inventory here around Asheville. This next chart shows you possibly the most important statistic that I'm going to be sharing throughout the entire video today. Now, I mentioned this in past videos, but I know that I throw a lot of statistics at you guys, and I want to make sure that you really remember this one. So a seller's market is considered 5 or fewer months of inventory with increasing prices. So what do I mean by months of inventory? Well, if demand were to continue at the current pace, how many months would it take to fulfill that demand with the current inventory? So if we have this statistic at 2 months, this means that we are still in quite a strong seller's market. And even if this were to increase to 3, 4, or 5 months, we would still be in a seller's market. If this were 6 or 7 months, we would be in a neutral market. And if it were 8 months or more, that would be considered a buyer's market. So as you can see by the chart here, we are quite a ways away from being in a buyer's market, let alone even just a neutral market. So while this is definitely good news for a buyer, I don't want you to get it in your head that we're now in a buyer's market, because that's just not true. It's still a seller's market, and in general, sellers are still going to have more power than buyers at the current time. All right, let's move on to mortgage news. Demand for mortgages hit a 22-year low in July. This is likely due to the fact that last year we saw historically low interest rates, and now, as most of you know, interest rates have been on the rise. While they're certainly not high compared to historical interest rates, they are certainly higher than that 2.65, 3% rate that we were seeing last year. Currently, 30-year mortgage rates are right around the 5.5% mark, though I have heard of some people getting them around 5% if you have the right mortgage broker and you are a well-qualified buyer. All right, moving on to local news. I don't really have anything super specific to share in my local news category this month, but I do want to mention that I am hosting monthly meetups in my Facebook group. If you are not already a part of that, I will leave a link to that in the description box below. It is called Living in Asheville, and if you type that into Facebook, you should very easily find it. I'm a little bit behind on approving people right now, so if you've already submitted a request, I'm sorry, I have like 400 people to go through, and it's just been a lot to kind of manage. But I do host monthly meetups through there, and we do things like go to breweries, restaurants, outdoor activities. One month we went to Gigi's Underground Jazz and Blues Bar, which was really fun. So definitely join that group if you are not already a part of it. It's a great community, and we all kind of help each other out, answering each other's questions and recommendations and things like that. Aside from that, I know that fall is right around the corner, and there will be a lot of different events coming up around Asheville that I'll probably sprinkle in here in this section of the video, probably next month. All right, moving on to the final category, and that is other news. In January, 70% of offers placed by Redfin agents faced competition. Now this percentage is just under 50%. So this does show that the market is starting to slow down a little bit, but as I mentioned earlier, we are still in a seller's market, but there definitely is some cooling off. So if you were a buyer last year and you just backed out of the market because you were just overwhelmed by the process, how many offers each home was getting, and just wanted some more time to think, then this might be the perfect time to hop back in the market. Interest rates have kind of stabilized a little bit. I know that earlier this year they hit right around 6%, but we are not near that percentage anymore. They've kind of backed off of that. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines, kind of curious about what to do, always feel free to reach out to me, ask me any questions that you have, and I'll be happy to share any advice that I can. Also, if you do not already have a copy of my free home buyer guide, or if you're a potential seller and you would like a free comparative market analysis done on your property, then please feel free to reach out to me. I'll leave my contact info in the description box below, as well as at the end of this video. All right, everyone, well, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, Leave me a comment, let me know what other content you would like me to film, and I will see you very soon in the next one.